an update on what we have going on with our Azure Stack HCI on the Apollo 4200 Gen 10 and Gen 10 Plus solution. As I kind of look back, I realized that we were talking about the update to the Gen 10 Plus platform a year ago, but a year ago today. What's new for it now, though, really, a lot of it has to do with this work we recently done, recently have completed and published on the solution on the Gen 10 Plus platform. So I'll give you a quick update as to what's going on with the solution, the new configurations, and also walk you through a little bit about the highlights of this white paper. And I definitely encourage you to go out there and pull down a copy. So first off, a quick review on the solution. It's the same Azure Stack HCI on Apollo 4200 solution we've had now in the marketplace for a few years. We first started on the Gen 10, the 4200 Gen 10 platform. Then we updated that, as I mentioned, about a year ago on Gen 10 Plus. And quickly about that, in case you don't recall, the Gen 10 Plus is a platform that features the Intel Ice Lake CPUs, more DRAM, and more in the way of high performance or higher performance storage media than on the Gen 10. So you really have the choice, and they're both still available in the market. So you have the choice of really more affordable capacity or more performance-oriented capacity in either Gen 10 or Gen 10 Plus platforms. It's still positioned for being the Azure Stack HCI platform for those highly data-centric workloads where performance is important and capacity is important. What's changed in the solution is we picked up support for single node cluster. It's something we really just recommend for use for like a POC or trial deployments, because you're really taking a big trade-off in terms of availability with just one node in your cluster. And this is still part of HPE's industry-leading breadth of HCI-related solutions. So whether it's our Azure Stack HCI solutions and all those configurations we have validated now, or similar ones available on ProLiant, or an integrated solution available on ProLiant, or other HCI or HCI-like solutions HPE has. You have a lot of choices with HPE if you're looking for something in the way of hyper-converged infrastructure. Okay, so this is new. That I think a year ago I talked about the hardware and we updated the solution. There's a little bit of a lag in us getting stuff published and getting things updated in the catalog. For instance, now if you go to the Microsoft's Azure Stack HCI catalog, you'll now see two of these configuration listings for our solution. So we've now added, along with the Gen 10 Plus validated configs, we now have a number of Gen 10. Actually, along with the Gen 10 validated configs, now have a number of Gen 10 Plus validated configs. You can see that the newer ones are really, as I said, more performance oriented. So you have a couple of configs that are all flash SSDs, and then we have a hybrid, but the hybrid includes NVMe along with HDD. So you got the best of capacity as well as that performance. And those are all in addition to our existing validated configurations. So we've expanded our options out there for you, and they're still available at the same place, azure.com/HCI, and then just look for hardware partner catalog. All right. The other thing that's been updated since the last time we spoke is the software itself. So Microsoft is now on this annual cadence of updating the software. So we are on what's been known as version 3, or what is formerly called 22H2. So it's the Azure Stack HCI software. And if you already have a cluster up and running, or a customer already has a cluster up and running, it will just update over the wire. You'll be notified, and you just go ahead and just select to do the update. So there's no additional cost. So long as you're already paying a subscription for those nodes, the software will just update. So it's pretty straightforward in terms of like, why do you care about V3? There are a number of different enhancements around the area of storage, easier data mirroring, be able to select 2 to 3. Thin provisioning is now there. Data replication for compression for stretch clustering, so being able to just send less data across the wire between distant nodes. Along with that, there's some networking and management feature enhancements. And the other thing too is, you may not have picked up on, and I don't think it's really made to be obvious, but you will see now more new features on Azure Stack HCI than you will on Windows Server, and that's definitely a deliberate effort by Microsoft to have Azure Stack HCI be the preferred platform for customers on-prem. And then with Windows Server really becoming more just the guest OS to run within Azure Stack HCI. So that's going on as well, just to let you know. A couple screen caps, just share with you here. I've been doing a full demo, but this is the view of deploying one of the new Apollo, one of our newish Apollo 4200 Gen 10 Plus systems. This is how the view would be through Windows Admin Center. So you actually can see the hybrid configuration. These are all drives. They're there to check and deploy. And what is new, another thing that's new is with WAC itself, so Windows Admin Center, we develop extensions. So extensions are those plugins that really enhance the integration between the system resources and the Windows portal, and actually in this case the WAC GUI. And so this is a view of the extension. In this case, it's the server extension, and we're up to version 1.6. And with this 1.6 version, it picks up support for the Apollo 4200 Gen 10 Plus, along with some other ProAlliant Gen 10 Plus systems and some other enhancements. So you definitely should be using, really, other than using PowerShell, WAC is the way you'd use, the way you'd manage your Azure Stack HCI clusters. And if you're using it, you should definitely be going ahead to update it to version 1.6. And this is the view, the dashboard view of, in this case, our cluster with 4200s. And then this is the tab view. So you see a number of tabs there, and this would be a storage manager tab. And you can see we can actually get views right down to the drives. And you can see the actual media type and the drive and the serial number. And you're actually at this view able to click the LEDs on the drives themselves on or off through the GUI. So a little management capability. The other thing in that white paper that I mentioned at the beginning is, along with just providing some up-to-date guidance, we also did some performance testing, and this is just a little taste of that. You can see that actually the point of this test was really just to see how much overhead Azure Stack HCI cluster software itself really introduces. And actually it's very little, as it turns out. So I know performance hasn't been a real big part of the story for Azure Stack HCI. It's really quite more about usability or low cost versus other options. But in terms of performance, it actually doesn't introduce a whole lot of overhead either. So good to know. And the details are in the white paper. A little update on some of our customers. So we continue to get new customers, running our solutions. And here's just a few. Telco in the UK, where they used Azure Stack HCI, our solution. It was originally actually an Azure Stack Hub deployment that they were considering, and it got switched to Azure Stack HCI, just more current and future-proofed. They're running their telco environment on that. We have a mobile operator in the Caribbean, also using Azure Stack HCI, and that was actually part of a broader hybrid cloud and multi-cloud deployment that we're doing with them. The third one actually is a customer I may have mentioned before, pretty massive CPU developer, household name here in the US, and they rolled out a pretty big 48-node Azure Stack HCI cluster on the Apollo 4200s. And that's clearly more of a case of looking for high capacity, relatively high performance for some sort of manufacturing-oriented workload. And then the other end of the spectrum, we have an international school, the new customer with us, clearly looking for more about price and usability, much smaller deployment. But once again, Azure Stack HCI and Apollo. All right, so with that, just in summary, Apollo 4200, still the platform of choice. If you're doing really data-centric workloads on Azure Stack HCI, you have the choice of the Gen 10 or the Gen 10 Plus. Software is now updated to version 3, or otherwise known as 22H2. A lot of capabilities and capacity in just a 2U appliance. And we just rolled out a new white paper for you to check out. And rather than try to give you a long URL, you just point your camera to that QR code and I'll bring you right to it. So with that, thanks for your time, and have a great day.